times that everyone wanted to have a piece of land, control of land. So it led to a process of what has become known as the global land grabs. So you have a raging land grab. And then suddenly, a separate parallel process, you have all these discussions and initiatives about climate change mitigation and adaptation initiatives, a lot of which have something to do with natural resources, land. Those lands are not, as what others claim, to be marginal and empty and available. Those lands are occupied with people who live and work on those lands, not necessarily always with formal titles to their claim, but they live and work in these spaces. On most occasions, in the end, they are talking about the same land or adjacent land or overlapping land.
So the problem was that there were, already before the program, there were many cases where climate change policies have been related to land grabs.
We all talk about what kind of climate policy is desirable, and there's a lot of discussion about it has to be socially just climate change policy. So you have this notion of climate justice, for instance. If we sensitize it to the countryside of the world, in which half of the population, however you talk about the urbanized world, then ultimately you talk about agrarian processes of people who live and work in the countryside, a lot of which have something to do with land.
I think first of all we try to understand to get a better understanding of how these intersections happen. Planting tree per se is not something good. It can be good, but it's not necessarily good. And it's something, to be honest, it's also not new finding, like tree plantations have always had a lot of trouble in the past.
It will only work if we combine a sense of agrarian justice on the one side and a sense of climate justice on the other side.
And I think it's an issue that will be much more important actually in the future, because this is just the beginning of the unfolding of climate change policies, if you want.